everybody, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this granny square. Now this granny square, I've used some worsted weight Aran weight yarn, and I've chosen two colours. I've chosen an orange and I've chosen a white, which is on the floor. That's really helpful. Up here. I've chosen an orange and I've chosen a white, and this is a worsted weight yarn, and in the UK that would be an Aran weight yarn, and I've used 100% cotton yarn to create more of a hard wearing feel. But you're also going to be needing I used a 3.5mm crochet hook, and it's always good to have a pair of scissors and a yarn needle as well for tying in those ends. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is choose one of our colours to work with, and taking our 3.5mm crochet hook, we're going to work 8 double crochet into a magic circle. Now if you don't like using the magic circle magic ring technique, then what you can do is chain 4, slip stitch into your first chain to form a loop, and then work the 8 double crochet into that loop. And this is in US terminology, as always. All my videos are in US terminology, but we're going to be using the magic ring technique, and we're going to work 8 double crochet into a magic circle. So there's 1, 2, and I'd like to apologise for the injury on my finger. I was putting together a load of flat pack furniture the other day, and it took absolutely ages, and I just ended up with really sore hands. So I do apologise. It doesn't look very good. So that's 4. 5, 6. And when you've got a few, what I do is I bring in my little loop, and then I just work the normal way. 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8. So if I'm going a little bit fast for you, I have done a video in more detail on how to do the magic circle technique, so I'll put a link in the description to that video and you can have a look at that in more detail. So let's pull our tail end tight to close that hole. Then we're going to slip stitch into our first double crochet. So we find our first double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That first stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch, but instead of bringing the orange yarn through, we're going to just put that down. We're going to bring in our alternate colour, so in this case it's white, making sure the beginning end is this side. We're just going to wrap that over our hook, and then we're going to bring that yarn through our stitch instead, and then through the loop on our hook as well to do a slip stitch. So now we're working with our white yarn. So moving on to round 2, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Just pull that tail end tight a little bit. Then we're going to work our 1 double crochet cluster, and it's doing our cluster is sort of like a double crocheting 2 stitches together. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, we're going to put our hook into the same stitch that we slip stitched into, so the bottom of our chains. We're going to put our hook back into that same stitch, like so. And then we're just going to bring the yarn through. So we've got 3 loops. And we're going to do the beginning of a double crochet, so we're going to yarn over and bring it through the first 2 loops. Then we're going to stop and we're going to yarn over again, but this time we're going to go into the next stitch. Let's put our hook into the next stitch and bring our yarn through. Then we're going to yarn over, bring it through the first 2 loops, then we're going to yarn over and bring our yarn through all 3 loops to do our double crochet 2 together. Then we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, nice and simple. And we're going to go back into the same stitch that we've just worked the end of our double crochet, and we're just going to do a slip stitch. So just come straight through the loop on your hook. So you've got a little something like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So going into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, and we'll just go straight through the loop on our hooks to do a slip stitch. And we're going to chain 3 again. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do our sort of double crochet cluster thing again. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go into the same stitch that we've just worked that slip stitch and those 3 chains. So the same stitch, bring the yarn through, then do the first half of your double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, then stop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, so you've got 3 loops left, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, like so. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch as our double crochet, our last double crochet, slip stitch. There's our next almost petal. Then we're just going to repeat that twice more till we get back to the beginning basically. So then we're going to go into the next stitch, bring our yarn through, do a slip stitch, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. We'll do our double crochet cluster, double crochet 2 together, mid-jiggy. I'm going to go back into the same stitch as our slip stitch and do the first half of our double crochet. So we yarn over, pull through 2, then stop, yarn over, and go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, then yarn over, pull through 2, so you've got 3 loops, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops to finish your double crocheting 2 together. Then we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3. We're going to slip stitch into the same stitch as our last double crochet, like so. And then the same again, we go into the next stitch and do a slip stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and start off your double crocheting 2 together by going into the same stitch as your slip stitch you've just done, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, so you've got 3 loops, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and then don't forget to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch as our last double crochet, like so. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to slip stitch into our first stitch there. So where you worked your first part of your first double crocheting 2 together, we're going to go back into that same stitch. So this is the same one you slip stitched into. Just put your hook through, and then instead of slip stitching with your white yarn, we're going to reintroduce our second colour. Now I haven't fastened off my second colour, so I'm just going to bring it straight through. You may wish to fasten off if you don't want any lines of yarn at the end, but just for this video I'm just going to bring that orange yarn straight through and then do a slip stitch, then just pull any tail ends tight, like so. Now we're working with our orange again, and what we're going to do, moving on to the third round, is we're going to chain 3 again. So chain 1, 2 and 3, so you chain 3, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a 1 double crochet and 1 single crochet in our first 3 chain space. Now our 3 chain space is going to be where these 3 chains are, the white ones, 1, 2 and 3, you see, and that gap there underneath the chains, between the chains and that double crochet, that's our 3 chain space. So what we need to do is, well, first off we're going to start off with a double crochet, so yarn over and then just put your hook through that gap basically, and then do a double crochet, and then I'm just going to move our double crochet down. Then we're going to do a single crochet in that 3 chain space as well, just a single crochet like that, so it looks a little something like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, then moving over to the next 3 chain space, so the other side of the petal in there, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet and 1 treble crochet. So we'll start off with our single crochet, so just put your hook through the 3 chain space and do our single crochet. Then we're going to do a double crochet in there, and then we need to do a treble crochet. So to do a treble, we yarn over twice and put our hook back into that 3 chain space, bring the yarn through, then yarn over and then pull through 2 loops, so you've got 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, so you've got 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So all you need to remember is just pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2 until you end up with 1 loop left. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, get some more yarn, and then we're just going to sort of repeat that, and in the next 3 chain space, this one over here, we're going to start off with 1 treble crochet, 1 double crochet, then 1 single crochet. So we do our treble again, so we yarn over twice and go into that next 3 chain space, bring the yarn through and yarn over, pull through 2, so you've got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, so you've got 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, so you're always putting through 2. Let's just move our treble down a bit, it's going to move. Then we're going to do a double crochet in the same 3 chain space, and then we'll do a single crochet like so. You can see it's starting to square off. Then we're going to chain 1 as we pass over the top of our petal, and then in our next 3 chain space, the other side of our petal, we're going to do a single crochet and then a double crochet, and we do our treble, so yarn over twice, it's the same 3 chain space, then we just pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through the last 2 for our next one, and then as we move over to the next petal we chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to start off with a treble again, so yarn over twice, go into that next 3 chain space, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, then a double crochet, then a single crochet, and then we chain 1 over the top of our petal, chain 1, and we come back down to our next 3 chain space with a single crochet and a double crochet, and then our treble crochet, yarn over twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. There we go. Then as we move over to the next petal, we chain 2, 1 and 2. And we start off with a treble to match, to basically mirror the opposite side, always mirroring. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, small yarn, and a double crochet. And a single crochet, then just chain 1, and then mirror that with a single crochet, then a double crochet, and then our treble crochet. Like so. Then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2 to join our next petal. What we're going to do though is we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first of 3 chains. So there's our first, second and third. So in our third one, we're going to do a slip stitch. And there we go. We are going to bring through the orange as well, so because we still want to keep using this colour at the moment. So we just slip stitch into the top of our first set of 3 chains. Then we're going to slip stitch to the next chain 1 space. Now our chain 1 space is now going to be, if you remember, in between, on the top of the petals we chained 1, so we chained 1 there, we chained 1 there, chained 1 there, we chained 1 there. Then in between our petals we were chaining 2, chaining 2, chaining 2, chaining 2. So what we need to do is to work some slip stitches over to this chain 1. So let's just do that. So slip stitch in that stitch, and slip stitch in that stitch. And then when you get to your chain 1, below is going to be a hole, not a very big hole, but it's going to be a hole, and that's going to be our chain 1 space. So in that hole underneath your stitch, put our hook, and we're going to work a slip stitch, but instead of grabbing the orange, we're going to grab our alternate colour, and I'm just going to, because I haven't fastened off, I'm just going to grab it from the back. And we're going to slip stitch like so. I'm just going to pull the orange tight. And now we're working with our next colour, the white again, and it's slap bang on that first chain 1 space. So what we're going to do next is we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space below. So yarn over, I'm going into that chain 1 space, and you're literally just putting your hook through that hole underneath the stitch between the orange and the white. So we're going to do 2 double crochet in there. So there's 1 and another double crochet in that chain 1 space as well. All like that. Small yarn. Oops. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the next 2 chain space. Now our 2 chain space is actually quite big, it's literally my whole finger will go through it compared to our chain 1 space. We did chain 2 in between the petals on that second round. So in that massive space there, we're going to do 3 double crochet to begin. So 1. Let's move our my orange out of the way. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Then we're going to do another 3 double crochet in that 2 chain space. So going back into the same 2 chain space, we'll do another 3 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So it should look a little something like that. So you did your chain 3, then you did 2 double crochet into your chain 1 space, and then we chained 1 to get over to our next chain space, and we did 3 double crochet, chain 2, then 3 double crochet, all in that 2 chain space. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 3 double crochet into that next chain 1 space there. So put in your hook just literally into that little hole between the stitch, the orange and the white, going in there. We'll do 3 double crochet in there. So there's 1, oops, 2 and 3, like so. Then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to repeat what we did over here. So we're going to do 3 double crochet in that 2 chain space. So that's all 1. So now you're working into that 2 chain space with 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Then we do another 3 double crochet into that 2 chain space. So 1, 2. Oh, I have a knot in my yarn. Okay, I'm just going to move the tail ends to the side, and I'm going to start, tuck that to the back, and then try and do my 3rd double crochet. Obviously you won't have that problem, hopefully. So there we go, another 3. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And moving over to our chain 1 space, do the same again. We chain 1, then we're doing 3 double crochet in our chain 1 space. 1, 2 and 3, then chain 1, and we do our 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and another 3 double crochet. 2 and 3. It's just about repeating the same pattern really, and chain 1, and then back to a chain 1 space. We do 3 double crochet in our chain 1 space again. Small 1, 2, small yarn, and 3. Then chain 1, and in the last 2 chain space we do the same again. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and another 3 double crochet. 1, 2. Let's do that one again, one a bit stringy. So 1, 2 and 3, and then just before you slip stitch to join your round, just want to do a chain 1, then we're going to slip stitch in the top of our first 3 chains. So there's our first chain, there's our second, and there's our third, if you can see, it's white. And bring the yarn through in between the 2 loops and the 1 loop underneath, through the loop on our hook to slip stitch, and then we're done. And then we just fasten off, and I'm going to fasten off my orange as well. Now obviously you might have fastened off in between your colour changes, which is fine, because otherwise you're going to end up with this sort of effect on the back where you join them. But as this is just for example purposes, I haven't fastened off. But then we get our yarn needle and very badly thread it onto our hook, onto our yarn needle, and then just going into that next stitch, tighten that, and then hide our tails by just sewing through a few stitches. And then back on yourself, but obviously not through the same bit, just slightly over. And like that, and then trim the excess. And all you need to do is tie in all your other tail ends, so I'll just do that and then I'll come back and show you the finished piece. And there we go, and I've tied in all my ends, and obviously you probably won't have this problem, so you probably have to fasten off when you join a new colour so you don't end up with this problem. But I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this Yarn Scrap Friday, and I'll have to do a video actually to show you how to join up granny squares, and also on blocking as well, some other ideas. But I hope you found this crochet tutorial useful, and hope it's inspired you to make something interesting, and I shall see you soon. I shall see you next Friday for another Yarn Scrap Friday. Cheers for watching, guys. Bye!